Come on in. Come on in. This is Molly Reardon, spilling the tea about the famous YouTubers, Eamon and Bec's habit. So I came across them, I think it was 2017. I was driving from the East Coast, Massachusetts, to the West Coast, California, to see my youngest son. I had originally booked a flight, but my oldest son wanted to come with me, so I ate the flight and he came along for the ride. I drove home by myself, and then I drove across America and back again in 2020. But during the first visit, I discovered Eamon and Bec. They are from Canada, like my Nana. My Nana was from Prince Edward Island, and they were a young couple, intelligent young couple that was working, don't quote me on this, I think in the tech industry. And they were thinking of getting an apartment, but instead they got a van, fixed it up, and started traveling in it. They traveled to Mexico, Morocco, all these different places. So while I was journeying across America, I would watch them, and I continued to watch them through the years, all the way up until the present time. And recently, they announced they have 2 vans at this point, and they announced that they were ending their van life journey. And what I liked about them was they were really cool. They would go out and buy a ton of socks and pass them out to the homeless. They built a place to collect puppies in Mexico that were in desperate need of, care, and they got homes for them. So they've done a lot of really cool things in serving other people, animals, and they're fun to watch. They cook a lot of delicious vegetarian meals. They have a cookbook. I ordered it. So let's spill the tea on the famous YouTubers Eamon and Bec. They recently said that they're having a baby, and they sold their vans and they have quit van life. Now, because they did so well, they were able to buy a cabin and fix it up and travel overseas and everywhere and have a good time. So now they're having a baby. So because my Nana was Scottish, she taught me how to have tea. I have a tea set. It's got to be over 100 years old, and it's packed up because I've been all over the place. My sister has my china right now, but we learned to have a love of tea from Nana. So when Eamon and Bec said that they were having a baby, I wanted to reach out and support them, and they have a brand new product called Habit, and it's loose leaf tea. I got the turmeric ginger, and it's great. At the end of the day, I make a nice tall cup of it, and it just helps to unwind at the end of a long day. It's delicious, and you can see it, a picture of it on the cover here. I'm having it right now. Recently, I was a huge coffee drinker. I don't know if any of you are listening or like this, but I was one of those people, please don't come near me in the morning until I've had my coffee. And at break time at work, I just couldn't wait to get to it. But surprisingly, my ex used to nag me all the time to get off coffee, that it's terrible for you. All of a sudden, I'm going to say week and a half to 2 weeks ago, I just switched to green tea. Just switched to it. and big change. So tea is a big part of my routine now. So at night during the day I have the green tea, and at night I have the turmeric and ginger from Eamon and Bec's new collection of tea called Habit. And I ordered a couple of them to support their new baby coming into the world. So check that out. They are famous YouTubers. They've been on for years now, and they do a lot of service, but they're also a lot of fun to watch. So drop in the comments, are you like I used to be, a coffee drinker that didn't want to talk to people until you had your coffee in the morning, couldn't live without it? Or are you someone like me that switched to tea? Or do you prefer tea? Or do you hate both? I'd love to hear from you. Drop that in the comments. Will you be checking out Eamon and Bec's new product? Will you be trying Habit? What are your thoughts about this? Now, like I said, they did service to animals, placing them in homes and giving them the care they needed. Some of these animals that they helped were in pretty rough shape, so they got them all the medical care that they needed. And they've also gone out and, like I said, given socks to the homeless, different things. So do you know about them? What do you think about van life? Is it for you? Is it not for you? Have you ever lived in a van or been camping? Or do you prefer not to do that? I'd love to hear about that. When I was a kid, I loved to go camping with my dad. He went to military school and he knew how to set up camp. And we camped in tents, we camped in campers, we camped up all up and down the east coast of America. It was beautiful. And in Prince Edward Island in Canada itself. So I kind of got away from it though, now that, in my older life, until 2017, when I started hitting the road to go see my son in California, and I drove across America. That was sort of like camping, even though when I was with my oldest son, we did stay in hotels. But on the way back, I did stay in some hotels, but the next time that I drove across America and back, no hotels whatsoever. Not the safest thing to do when you're a woman alone. I don't know if I would recommend it, but I did do it. And when I look back on it now, in some of those canyons, you don't get phone reception forever. My son was amazed. He said, "You don't even have a GPS and you've made it across 3 states." I did study the map before I left. But if you get a flat tire, you may not see people for days driving through those canyons if you take the northern route. And I did hear about a girl that was eating her lunch in her car in Texas and she got shot in her car. So I was really fortunate that nothing happened to me. Now that I look back on my travel back and forth across America, the first time with my oldest son, back by myself, and then back and forth again in the southern route by myself. So I really enjoyed watching Eamon and Bec over the years. They're still on there. When they said this is the end, they just meant they sold their Sprinter vans and now they're having a baby. But they are a fun couple to watch. So do you have a favorite kind of tea? I happen to be doing the green tea right now. I have the Earl Grey, and I have the turmeric with the ginger, which I absolutely love at the end of a long day. And they do, if you need them, you can buy the tea bags separate if you don't have what you need to deal with the loose leaf tea. So the green tea just has so many health benefits. I didn't order that through them. Not sure if they have that. I forget what they have. I did order the turmeric and ginger and another one. So thank you for tuning in. And if no one told you they love you today, I love you. Much love.